we're the Clark family, and we've sold our house and packed up our lives and moved to Galicia in northern Spain.
So follow us as we start our new lives, learn new skills, join a new community and try to live a more sustainable life. Good morning from sunny Galicia. I'm saying sunny because it's been on and off sunny, but at the moment it is sunny. Sorry for the lack of video last week. We were very caught up with problems with the van, and then we had some friends come and stay with us, so we were too busy having a good time with them, so apologies.
But we're back, and we've had a really busy couple of weeks. Various things, haven't we? So yeah, the van, we had problems with the calipers on the van. We're still actually waiting for a part to come for that to repair it, but the van's working at the minute. Just got to change one of the brake calipers on that, so that's a little job to do in the future. Yeah, we had to get that in from Germany because we couldn't source one in Spain, unfortunately. Yeah, so that's from Germany. We've also had friends come over, haven't we, from the UK. They came and stopped with us for a few days. So we had a trip up to Monforte de la Mos. So we had a morning there. You had a morning?
Yeah.
We had a morning at Monforte.
A morning in Vigo.
That's a quick morning in Vigo because they flew into Vigo. So we had a quick morning there with a coffee and a quick look around. I ironically completely missed all the lights there. I don't know how we did that because they're everywhere, but yeah, we managed to do that.
Yeah.
But once we dropped them off at the airport, we went back to see the lights in Vigo. It's become a bit of a phenomenon, I believe, in Spain, and people are travelling from all over. There was lots of Portuguese people there. There was loads and loads of Portuguese buses all parked up on the sort of outskirts of Vigo. So I guess I don't know whether it was a Portuguese holiday or something, but it was absolutely rammed with Portuguese people, and obviously lots of Spanish people.
And a couple of Brits.
Yeah, and a couple, one or two, or three or four. Yeah, we met up with some friends that we've made since we've been here, and they showed us around the lights. It was brilliant. We had a really nice day, didn't we? Really nice day.
Absolutely incredible. The view over the bay in Vigo was phenomenal because again it was another beautiful sunny day, and we experienced it all while it was quiet. We went around the market. We had an amazing beef. Well, Scholar had a sandwich, Zen has it as a kebab, and we had slices of beef with chips, and it was delicious. And then the crowds hit, and then the lights came on, and it was just the most amount of people I've ever seen in one place all in one time. The most amount of Christmas lights that you could ever even possibly imagine, and just excitement and street vendors and street artists, and it was unlike anything that I could have possibly expected or anything that I've ever seen. Do I want to go again and be around that many people? I'm not sure. But not at the night time, but I'm glad that we did it, and hopefully you'll enjoy having a look at the photos and the videos that we're putting along now.
Yeah, I haven't seen that many people in one place forever. I can't recall anywhere being that so cramped and packed in such a a confined area.
There was one point when the kids wanted to go on the big Ferris wheel, and they went off to go and get their tickets, and we were sort of trying to make our way to the queue, ready for them to go through the queue. And we couldn't physically move where we wanted to go. We just had to go with where the crowd was going and get a space before we could sort of re-aim where we were heading for. It was just... Yeah,
it was mad. And the kids got the tickets to go on the Ferris wheel. However, the queue was so long, they never actually got on the Ferris wheel. It's a 90-minute drive from where we are, and we were there till I think 11 o'clock at night. So we didn't get home till... I think it was just before 1 o'clock in the morning. So it was an aborted mission, unfortunately. we're told that between Christmas and New Year's, once all the excitement has died down a little bit, it's not so busy there. So we might have another trip down to Vigo to see the lights when there's not so many people around, and hopefully the kids will be able to use the ticket and go on the massive Ferris wheel there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an experience. You know, if you're in the area, I'd definitely recommend going. Perhaps just miss the first week or two. Wait until the crowds have abated a little bit. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, be great. Yeah, it was lovely. It was really nice. Yeah, so what else we've been up to over the last couple of weeks?
I've done a lot of baking. I'm always doing a lot of baking. I'm always making lots of different cakes and breads and things. I've had a go at making some different things.
Yeah, as always, lots of bread on the go, and made some burgers, didn't you? One day we had some burgers, homemade burgers.
Yeah.
And you made some buns for the burgers.
Yeah, and you made your birthday cake.
Yeah, made my birthday cake.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. 2021 again for another year.
Good morning. You might have seen in some of the other videos that we've done over the last few weeks that I do quite a bit of baking. I make all of our bread at home, mostly for convenience really, because our local town is sort of a 15-minute drive away. We're not always going there. Sliced bread in packets here is incredibly expensive. You're sort of talking €3.5 just for a loaf of bread. Fresh bread's a lot cheaper, a lot cheaper. A baguette perhaps will be sort of 80 cents, but it is fresh. It only just sort of lasts the day, so you can't buy a few days at once. So it's more convenient really for me to make our own bread. Also, we do sourdough, so everything that you've seen me bake over the last few weeks, I think Adam's put some photos in some of the videos, it's always with sourdough. Sourdough is something that we started in lockdown. I think a lot of people did sourdough during lockdown with COVID a few years back, mostly for the health benefits of it. It's easy to digest, it contains a lot of healthy bacteria within it. Making your own bread and making your own cakes and things means that you know what's going into them. Sourdough naturally preserves the product that you're making, so it lasts a little bit longer than sort of traditional bread. It doesn't contain yeast. Yeast can upset some people's stomachs. So this is just a very small section of the actual health benefits of sourdough. A small section that I can remember anyway. So for those of you that don't know, sourdough is made with just flour and water. You make your starter with sort of 50 grams of water, 50 grams of flour in a jar, leave it 24 hours. And then the next day you do the same thing again. And then the next day you discard some of it and you add some more flour and water. And it sort of takes between 7 and 10 days normally, depending on the temperature of your kitchen, for your starter to be ready to use. You know it's ready when it starts doubling within, as normally is within about 5 to 6 hours, because it's quite cool in our kitchen. If it's warm in your kitchen, then it'll take a lot less time than that. If it's cold in your kitchen, then it might even take up to sort of 12 hours for it to be ready. But so when I know that I'm going to be baking in an evening, I will feed the starter. So for every 50 grams of starter that I've got in the jar, I'll add 50 grams of flour and 50 grams of water. I'll perhaps do that in the morning, and then I'll get the loaf started in the evening so that the actual bread rises during the night when I'm asleep. And then I'll prepare it and then bake it in the morning, ready for us to have for lunch that day. I'd love to say that the taste of warm bread is absolutely delicious, but actually sourdough bread, you wait for it to fully cool down, else the insides go a bit soggy and you don't get the same sort of rise from it. The smell is incredible though. With sourdough, you do quite often get discard. So if I was just to keep forever, if I don't use this, for example, you still have to feed it. And if I was just to take the weight of that, which I think is about 350 grams, and then added 350 grams of water and flour, obviously it's just going to be a big bubbly mess. So you get something, you have to tip away what you're not going to use, and it's just a massive waste. So all of the cakes and stuff that I make, I do with the discard, so it doesn't need to be fully bubbling. I have made a loaf this morning, but it was only a small one. So I have got quite a lot of discard here. So I'm going to make some crackers. Adam and the kids, and I actually absolutely love them. And because it's old sourdough, it's not recently been fed, it's got a bit of a tang to it. And not a terrible tang, just a bready tang to it. And it makes the crackers have a bit of a cheese strawy sort of taste to them. They're absolutely delicious. So I'm going to crack on with making some of these, and I just thought that I'd bring you along for the journey. So I'm going to start out with 220 grams of sourdough discard, although I'm not actually discarding it because I'm using it, so we're just going to call it unfed starter. So 220 grams are going in here. Another really good benefit for making sourdough bread is that you don't have to use a stand mixer. You don't have, it's not got loads and loads and loads of kneading, sort of like traditional bread, where you have to, traditional bread, you have to stand there for sort of 10 minutes just constantly kneading it, whereas you don't need to do that with sourdough. It's just a case of mixing it and then giving it a bit of a massage, leaving it for an hour, then giving it another little bit of a massage for like 30 seconds, and then it's ready to go. So don't tell Adam that though, because he has just bought me a very expensive KitchenAid stand mixer that I obviously really needed, but I don't actually use for bread. Shh. So 220 grams of starter. I'm going to add to that 95 grams of plain flour. Hopefully Adam's going to fast forward all these bits, and she's going to be super bored watching me. And to that I'm going to add 60 grams of whole wheat flour. Oh no, that's not whole wheat, this one's the whole wheat. That one's not the whole wheat, this one's the whole wheat. Or integral in Spanish. And then 85 grams of unsalted butter. My hands are clean, don't worry, I washed them before I started. I should just point out that I'm not an expert on sourdough. I'm very much a wing it kind of girl. There is sciences to it where people will measure the temperature of the room that they're making it in, in order to know how long it's going to take to leaven, and depending on the wheat that they're using and the percentage of the protein. I don't go into that much detail. Not only do I not have time, but I really don't have the inclination for it. So far, it seems to be going well for us. But if you want to go into the nth degree with protein, then you can. With protein, if you want to go to the nth degree with sourdough, then you can. I'm not that person. That's approximately a teaspoon of salt. If you do have any questions regarding sourdough, then feel free to ask in the comments and I'll do my best to try and help. But yeah, I'm not an expert. There's some brilliant Facebook groups out there that I do get a lot of information from, and a lot of ideas from, and a lot of recipes from. But yeah, I really don't go to the same sort of degree that some people do go to. Just sort of mixing this to combine it. So that's it sort of combined. I'm going to get my hand stuck in here now and mix it properly. Like I say, just a very easy sort of a need, sort of not really a need. And this is too sticky. If I try and do anything with this, it's going to be impossible. So I'm going to flick a little bit more plain flour in it. I've made these a few times, so I know what sort of consistency works best. So the sort of things that I've made in the past with sourdough includes your traditional bowl kind of bread. Ball, is that what you call it? Ball. We make quite a lot of, I make quite a lot of bread in loaf tins. I've got a plain one, I've also got a honey one. I also recently made a fruit and nut one, which was amazing. I try and make something different every Sunday morning for breakfast. So we've also had cinnamon swirls. Every Saturday morning we have sourdough pancakes for breakfast with a mixture of different toppings. Every Friday night every Saturday night Adam makes sourdough pizzas. Again with all different toppings. They're delicious, they are really, really delicious. We've made sourdough cookies, we've made sourdough cupcakes, I've made sourdough bundt cakes. Chocolate ones and apple ones when we had loads of apples in the autumn. What else have we made? Oh, I've made a chocolate loaf with chocolate flavoured bread and chocolate chips in it. Oh, we made a really delicious chocolate bread that had yoghurt in it and all fruit on top. That was amazing. If we have a curry, then I will make sourdough naan breads. There's so many different things you can do with it. It's so versatile and it's so easy as well. The only thing that I would say is that you do have to be a little bit organised, especially if it's a proper bread, because they do tend to take sort of 12 hours when you include the rising time of the actual bread. And that doesn't actually include the time that you have to remember to feed your loaf. So you sort of do need to be planning maybe 18 hours before you want to eat your sourdough thing, that you're ready for it, with you feeding your sourdough. And those of you that know me are going to be quite surprised to hear me saying that I actually am organised enough to be able to do these things, because it's not one of my well-known traits. So this is now what I would say is the perfect consistency. I guess it's like Play-Doh. That's how it feels now. It feels like Play-Doh. So it's just a ball that I'm now able to pick up. The thing is with this now is that it's not going to roll because it breaks up too easy. We need the glutens now in the flour to do its thing with the water. Not sure what the scientific terms are with that, very sorry. So what we're going to do is I'm going to split this into 2 equalish sized balls, flatten it, wrap it in cling film and pop it in the fridge for, I'd say it needs to be at least half an hour. It's probably going to be a bit longer than that because I'm going to go out to the polytunnel now and do a bit of weeding. So, but that doesn't matter. It goes in the fridge because if I left it out on the side, it would rise like a bread would. And I don't want it to rise because I want them to be nice and flat like crackers. So while it does its thing in the fridge, I'll go and do mine and we'll meet back in a little bit. Whoops. So it's the next day. We've had a problem with the van and yesterday I ended up helping Adam try and get that sorted. So the good thing about this recipe is that it can just chill in the fridge for 2 to 3 days, I think, until you're ready to use it. So let's get started. This is the point where normally you'd warm your oven up to, I think it was 190 degrees centigrade, but our wood-fired oven has been going now all morning. I've made sure that it's been stoked. So we're going to cook as in there. The recipe that I'll follow says to use just a pizza cutter now and cut this into squares, but I'm not saying that we're fussy or anything, but we quite like round crackers and I like to cut them in 3 different sizes because it's just nice to have a little selection. This might be obvious to some people, but it's a trick that I've recently learned. If you've got a funny shaped tin, rather than cutting your paper to size, if you just squinch it up and it just sits in there dead nice, it's obvious, but to a person who has never been a baker in her life, that was not previously obvious. So I'm going to brush these with olive oil. And then you can add different toppings. We like doing salt ones, pepper ones, grated parmesan ones, and also some mixed green herby ones. Obviously you can do whatever you want. So the last thing I'm going to do before I stick these in the oven is prick them all with a fork. Because they have got sourdough in it, albeit not immediately fed sourdough, so it's not got the rising power that it would like my fresh one that I'm going to make some burger buns with. It hasn't got the same sort of rising power as that. It does have rising power. So I'm going to prick them all with a fork all over, else what happens is that they puff up and they're no good for crackers. I'll leave one unpricked so you can see what I mean. This was something that I learned the first time I did it. They definitely need pricking all over. I'm fairly certain Adam's now going to put a little pop-up saying, is prick even a word anymore? Right, time to stick them in the oven. So it's been about 15 minutes. I'm going to come and check on the crackers. So as you can see there, the top ones are done. They're nice golden brown. There's the puffy one that I didn't put holes in with a fork. If you give one a feel, yeah. So they're slight, if I give one a feel, so they're slightly soft still, but once they've cooled down, they'll harden it nicely, they will. So I put that on top. But then the one further down, this is the perils, unfortunately, of using an oven like this, is that you can never really have full control over it. These ones aren't cooked at all. So I'll put them at the top. These are the cheesy ones that I've just done. I'll put them in to go in the middle and check on them in about 5 minutes. Do we need some more wood? No, that's all right for a few minutes.
And we've also had this, I suppose in the UK we call them bank holidays, but here, what are they? Fiestas? Yeah, so been a few fiestas this week. The kids have been off school for 3 days because of the 2 fiestas. So we've had the fiesta for St. Nicholas, which I guess is Santa Claus Day, because St. Nicholas is Santa Claus, I think, isn't he?
Yes, but I don't think that St. Nicholas is
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus. It's there's sort of 2 celebrations on that day. I think that officially it's the day for celebrating the fall of Franco. So this like a Spanish Independence Day kind of thing, and then also they call it the St. Nicholas Day. I'm not sure whether it's Christmas related. I'd like to think so. And then yesterday was the fiesta for the Immaculate Conception. Spain being a very Catholic country, it's clearly very important to them. So, and then they make it a bridge. So they also had Thursday off. A lot of businesses were closed. The shops were open, but I think that a lot of office kind of businesses were closed, and the schools were all closed on Thursday as well to make it an awesome long weekend. So that's been pretty cool to have the kids at home. Decorated the house with all of our Christmas decorations.
We've got our Christmas jumpers out, as you can see. You'll be seeing lots of these over the next couple of weeks, because we've got, yeah, of the 100 boxes that were brought from the UK, 98 of them were full of Christmas rubbish. Oh, that's no exaggeration.
It's a big exaggeration. Maybe 6. Which is still 600. No. So this week, friends that we went to Vigo with, they invited us over to their to her parents' house to celebrate the slaughter of the pigs. A lot of the families around here they are farms and they've got animals and they grow their own food. They're all self-sufficient, which is exactly what we want to be. And they says, do you want to come over and have a bit of a party with us to celebrate the slaughtering of the pigs? So, well, why not? We're here, we want to get involved, we want to experience the real life in rural Galicia, so off we went. I'm not going to go into too much gory detail because I'm fairly certain that quite a lot of you don't want to know, but Wednesday we had a big party and there must have been about 20 of us, I think, and we ate what was left of last year's pork. And then this year we got involved in and then Thursday we got involved in the processing of that meat. And then sort of like the preservation of it, and yeah, we helped them with like the salting for making the jamon, and the preparation for making chorizos. And then once again we had another big party. This time I think there was about 30 of us, and then we ate some of this year's pork, and I just couldn't have felt more welcome and more invited to learn and to experience and to get involved. And it was just amazing. It was just a big group of neighbours and of their family, and then us, and I think that we were equally as amazed about what we were involved in as what they were amazed in us wanting to be involved in it. And it was just an incredible 2 days and a lot of food.
Yeah, lots of food, and an experience that we move in the circles that we did back in the UK. So just typical family of 4, living in suburbia, You buy all your meat from Tesco's or Lidl or wherever, and you don't see this process, and you don't really appreciate it. The sort of work that goes into raising these animals, and the work that goes into processing an animal like that. And you know, it's hard work. I think it took I think there was 20 of us in total
that physically working.
Physically working.
Yeah, to
on the 3 carcasses. You know, it took us almost a morning to process them all. We did have a little break halfway through with some barbecued pork, which was inbred, which was lovely, and a obligatory glass of wine or bottle of beer to wash it down, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not something that we would see. It's not something we've been exposed to previously. But that's what we've come to, you know, a rural area like this to learn about and appreciate. And yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. How does it make you feel about keeping pigs ourselves?
I think I'm fairly set on having pigs, and I'm happy with, you know, with the help of locals, we could actually do the butchering. The only bit I'm not so sure about is the actual dispatching of the pig.
No.
Whether we got somebody in to do that for us, which I guess we would initially, to do that, because I'm not confident of doing that. And when you're dealing with that sort of thing, it's not something you want to be messing up.
No.
You know, it needs to be done fast and efficiently. So yeah, a sort of an experience, or I'm going to say once in a lifetime experience. It's not going to be once in a lifetime experience, but that's what it feels like. It feels like something that, you know, I've experienced or we've experienced, and we've, you know, yeah, it's just just amazing, really.
We're definitely going to experience it again, because the sort of the deal is that it's like a group of neighbours, and they all do keep pigs. So everybody all goes around to one family's house and helps them process their pigs, and then perhaps another week everybody will go around to somebody else's house and help them with them, and collectively they all sort of get involved in the processing of all of their animals, don't they? So I'd like to think that, unless they thought we did a terrible job, in which case they never want to see us again, but I'm hoping that they know that they can sort of rely on us to help get involved. So in next year or the year after, or whenever we decide to go for it, we know then that we'll perhaps be able to call on them to help us as well. So
absolutely. And I think you've got to remember that you know, this is cultural for these people here. And you know, if you look, I was speaking to my dad about this, and he says he can remember his granddad when he was a young boy, and their neighbours used to have pigs, and they used to keep pigs, and they used to slaughter the pigs themselves at home. So you know, even in the UK, perhaps 150, 160 years ago, you know, people would, you know, it was more commonplace. So you know, it was perhaps traditions back in the UK as well, as I'm sure it is in more rural communities in the UK. I mean, like I said, we you know, we lived in suburbia, so you know, we weren't exposed to these things. But I'm sure this sort of thing goes on all over the world. It's just that you're never really exposed to it.
No, but it just gives you a bigger appreciation for the food that you eat.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And they say that nothing on a pig is wasted. You can process everything apart from the oink. And yeah, we can categorically say everything was processed apart from the oink.
It's true.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So it's been an amazing couple of weeks for us. Yeah, and yeah, the last couple of days have been a real highlight, and you know, we really feel as if we've been welcomed into the community here, and you know, to be welcomed into somebody's house and sort of break bread and drink wine with, you know, so many locals was absolutely awesome. And we hope that we can, you know, repay them in the future.
That's kind of it really then for this week. Hopefully we'll have a lot more footage of us being busy in the garden for you next week. So we'll see you then.
We'll see you then. Bye.
Yo, 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 yo.